parcels, any special news that the company wants to emphasize for that day. Certain evenings per night they have uh, it's kind of like the military style. They gotta come in and clean the place up once every week. They gotta make sure that everything is in order because the RA comes in afterwards, check the door, make certain the clothes are hung properly, make certain the place is clean. On Fridays, on Fridays, the students are allowed to leave on weekend leave. They leave on Friday evening, they come back on Sunday. They need to get back on by 9:30. On weekends, this curfew time it's at 12:30 for Fridays and Saturdays, and it's 11 o'clock. 11 o'clock. They're supposed to be in bed on during the week. My place that I play presently is to help the students in terms of adjusting to the program, following a goal. They set themselves goals. Each student has what they call a personal career development plan. My role there is to help them get to that place that the goals are. So it may mean seeing to it that they're in the right class, seeing to it that they have the things that are needed, sitting down, listening to their problems, relating to them, connecting them between their parents and them on the situation. Some issues might develop, personal matters may come up, there's a death in the family, and I need to verify whether it's really true or not, because we got a lot of students who like to leave on weekends, whatever, and they'll tell you any kind of a story they have, and if you don't check it out, and sometimes I'm a little naive, to be honest. My honesty, it can't, based on my honest level, is like, how could a person tell another one that there's a death in the family in order to get home, knowing for a fact that there's no death, then you call and find out there's no death? I mean, to me, it's just, some of these things are just way out. I don't know. I never used to do them because I was scared, man. My father would bust me. The American term is I would be, what's the word now?
Spanking?
Yes, I'd be spanked. I would be punished, man. I'd never forget it. I can't do it. So that's kind of part of my role, and trying to help these students to be honest, to emphasize the importance of living and working together. The staff, there's a problem in the classroom, they call the counselor, they go over there, talk to the student, see to that the student gets in the counseling. If they need mental health care, is trying to refer them to the right place. This is particularly where I sit at this time. What is going to be in the future, I don't know. So that's kind of role I play in helping them to achieve their part of the goal.
Talk about the diversity of the students and how that affects your daily working.
At the moment, at least, the diversity issue at Alabama Job Corps takes into account not only color or ethnicity. We have some Africans there. And they're from different sections of Africa. They have been here in the States. Many of them come here on a refugee status, but they need to establish themselves as individuals. So they come and they get their education. It's sometimes difficult for them for the reading, the concepts, the images. When I deal with those guys, it's a little bit slower going, because I've grown up in the English world. They didn't. Even though, they have all different language and tribal issues. So they gotta try and connect what do you mean you're talking about light or whatever the words is, because many of them have different languages. And then we have the Hispanics, or the whatever they call them. I think it's Hispanics is their proper name. They're from Mexico and they're from wherever. A lot of Hispanics are there. Trying to deal with them, their language issue again is another part of it. And then you have African Americans. And I must tell the truth, even though we are from the same African tradition, the difference between two of them, between the African American, two different worlds. Language, sometimes I don't hear what they say sometimes. I have to ask them again because they speak sometimes they speak like down in the throat. Sometimes they speak too fast, like I do sometimes. Sometimes I speak very fast, especially if I get comfortable, I just keep going. And then the Caucasians, which, to be honest, I really don't have a problem relating to them. We talk, seem like they understand me, at least they say so. So when I have to deal with all of these groupings now, where the grouping, the problem comes is when, since I deal with them on a one-on-one basis, it's not so difficult. But I remember when I was an RA and you have some Africans want to use the telephone, you have Caucasians want to use the telephone, and Hispanics want to use the telephone, and you got to make a call about who gets to use the phone. You sometimes get accused of being discriminated. I may have an African American there who he didn't even call. He didn't even ask for a call. Somebody called him and he wanted to talk. I remember a station where this guy called, his parents called, he wanted to talk to him at a station at home, gave him the phone to use. And another guy came, he was a Hispanic, and he said to me, can I use the phone? And I tried to find out why he needs to use the phone, because phone bills are expensive. And the company was saying, no, you can't just allow students to make long distance calls. Somebody got to pay for it. And because the student was on the phone like about 5 minutes to 10 minutes dealing with a station at home, the other guy looked at me and says, now I know. So it's a racial stuff. And believe me, I really got on. Because this was not an issue. I mean, I had another instance where African American student came and asked me up front, are you for the whites or are you for the blacks? Although the company didn't employ me for whites or black, they employed me to help everybody. So I've had to get in the middle of all of that stuff, or you had a fight on the wing where students wanted to get on somebody's case, and you got to get in there and try and help clarify by what each person is saying. So the understanding of what goes on is important as far as that is concerned. To me, it has been challenging, to say the least. But I think I've survived. Since working there in 98 till now, I survived it. And I think it's for that purpose. If we are willing to understand what goes on between these races, the language, the images that pass through their heads, and they be in this building, and especially for some students who have been to jail or prison, and they come living there, they want to think it's the same place. There are rules everywhere, but these students are allowed to go, so long as they follow simple rules like being on time, go to bed, wear dress clothing, be at certain time at certain places. The other rules are not hard to find. Keep a place clean, which is, to me, is like, well, that's part of life. You need to keep a place clean.
Do you find a lot of racial issues?
I don't think they surface a lot. I think they're more undertone. You gotta, some students might just think it's a racial issue. And they might not like, for example, a couple of years ago, when the population was like 90% blacks, African Americans, to the rest of Caucasian and Hispanics, etc., you would probably think that this is an all African American place. And in that respect, some students who have never had contacts with, we have a lot of rural Caucasian coming into Atterbury. And then we have a lot of city African Americans coming into the city. So we have two different people in two different worlds. And to me, it's like we are now the majority, therefore you are the minority. And I think that creates itself a whole kind.
So you think instead of a race issue, it's more of a city versus country?
Sometimes it's city versus country, sometimes it's